Just when you think you know everything about Bluey, another hidden detail pops up. Today we're taking a closer look at some of the clever hidden details that add much more depth to this amazing show. As we already know, the creators of the show like to link multiple episodes with one another. And in the episode Army, when Rusty and Jack are playing soldiers, there's another episode unfolding at the same time, one you probably missed. Right when Jack is introduced to Calypso, if we look at the background, we can see Bluey and Chloe. And they're playing the same game they played in the episode The Adventure. So maybe both of these episodes occurred in the same timeline. Now this next detail is really interesting. In the episode Zoo, during the opening scene, we can see Bandit laying on the couch reading a newspaper. And if we look at the front page of the paper, there's a picture of a dog playing soccer. Nothing too unusual. But if we skip ahead to the episode Shaun, we can see that Bandit is reading the exact same newspaper. And here's the thing, these two scenes are several episodes apart. Zoo is the 35th episode of season 1, and Shaun is the 50th episode. So, there are two explanations for this. First, Bandit is just pretending to be busy, so no one will bother him. And second, the animators might have made a little slip up here. In the minisode alongside, there's a little detail that probably no one noticed. When Honey and Bluey are having breakfast, they both grab some cereal, but if we look at Bluey's cereal box, it stands out the most. If you're from America, then you may know that this cereal actually exists in real life. It's called Fruit Loops, and it seems like Bluey really loves this cereal, but Bandit doesn't want her to eat it. We don't blame him, because this cereal contains tons of sugar. As we know, before Cornelius met Terrier's mum, he used to go out on a date with multiple girls. And one of the girls was the one we saw for the first time in the episode Quite Game. But the interesting thing about her is, since this episode, we've already spotted her 3 different times in 3 different episodes. First is the episode Dance Mode. Here she was in the company of another sunglass-wearing dog. And in the episode Promises, during the playground scene, when Bluey and Bingo are on their way to play, she's standing on the street talking to that guy who sells cheaper electricity plans. Remember him? That's the same character who rings the Healer family's doorbell in the episode Sheepdog. And finally, in the episode Circus, when all the characters head to the polling station to vote for their community leaders, we can see her again, chatting with a colleague in the corner. It seems like she is campaigning for the candidate in blue. The episode The Sign is all about the wedding of Rad and Frisky, and most of you were probably so focused on the wedding that you missed this hidden detail. If you paid attention to the episode then, you probably noticed Stripe takes things a little too far, becoming progressively more aggressive as the party continues. While it may seem like a funny Bluey detail that's meant for adult viewers, Stripe's behavior clearly rubs his wife, Trixie, the wrong way. While Stripe and Trixie have been at odds before, the two can be seen in the background of wedding sequences having disagreements. And in one of the scenes, Socks is playing with the wedding cake toppers and making them act out an argument. A leading fan theory suggests that Stripe and Trixie's conflicts are so regular that they've influenced Socks. This even led to multiple theories about Stripe and Trixie getting a divorce. But I don't think it'll happen, because it only seemed to be a minor disagreement, which is common amongst married couples. In the early days of Bluey, almost all Bluey fans thought Bluey was a boy. But later, we realized that she's in fact a girl. But did you know there is a really easy way to differentiate between male and female characters in Bluey? The first way is that almost all male characters, except for some, have slightly wider bodies than the female characters. For example, let's look at Chili and Bandit. We can notice that Bandit has a much wider body compared to Chili. Another way that we can use to differentiate boys from girls is the way the characters sit. For example, the female characters in the show always sit with their legs closer together, while the male dogs always sit with their legs slightly spread apart. And when the girls play games pretending to be male dogs, they sit in the same manner like a male character. When Bingo disguises herself as a man with a mustache, she sits in a completely different way from how we're used to seeing her, indicating that she's imitating a man. Such an interesting detail, isn't it? In the episode TV Shop, we see Cornelius picking up Winton from school, and on the rear glass of Cornelius's car, we notice some sort of drawing, but it is not clear. But later in the episode, we see his car again parked at the pharmacy, and we can see the drawing better. And in the drawing, we can notice that there's a child, a male adult, and where another character should be, it looks like someone tried to erase it. This detail basically hints that Winton's parents were divorced. And also, did you know that Cornelius met Terrier's mom for the first time in the same episode? Everything about Bluey is well known, so much so that even their garden gnomes have their own fan bases. And among these gnomes, Jeremy is probably the fan favorite. And if you paid close attention to the episode The Sign, then you'll remember that our dear, beloved, and long-suffering Jeremy gets kicked by Frisky when she's arguing with Radley on the phone. And when she kicks the poor gnome, we can notice a small crack on its head. But did you know that crack wasn't due to Frisky's kick, but from one of the previous episodes? Yes, that's right. Despite Frisky's aggression towards the poor garden gnome, we can notice that even before this happened, he was already broken. Here's the detail. This is a direct reference to the episode Backpackers. In it, Bluey and Bingo are playing while clinging onto Bandit. But while doing so, we see poor Jeremy falling to the ground, and one of his pieces simply flying off, proving that his ceramic hat definitely broke at that moment. So, Chili must have glued him back together later. But you could still see the cracks even after the repair. Now, let's talk about some hidden details in the episode Surprise. In the episode when adult Bluey visits Chili and Bandit, we can notice many photo frames inside the house. And in one of the frames, we can see Bingo. And if you look on the background of the photo, you can see Easter Island. If you don't know, then Easter Island is one of the most popular destinations for people who are interested in archaeology. And since we know that everything in Bluey has a meaning, this might very well mean that Bingo followed Bandit's footsteps and became an archaeologist, just like him. And in the other photo frame, we can see the whole Healer family in the picture. And it seems like this photo was taken during Bluey's graduation, because in the photo, we can see Bluey holding her degree and wearing a graduation hat. Did you know that Bluey is an expert in knitting? In the episode Curry Quest, we noticed a small detail. In the episode, we can see Bluey and Chili sitting together. The two are together, knitting something. And in the same episode, Bandit can be seen traveling away from home, and apparently he's away for 6 weeks. Later, in the episode, we can see Bandit on video call with Chili and the girls. And during the call, Bluey shows him what she and her mom are making. But the interesting part is that when Bandit returns from his trip, the Healer girls go to the airport to pick him up. Now, do you all notice that Bluey is wearing a scarf exactly in the same colors as the piece she and her mom were making? So, this means that the characters continue with their life even though we don't see them on screen. And also, we must say that Bluey is very good at knitting. In the episode Grandad, we got to know a little more about Chili's childhood. In fact, she used to play in this very spot when she was a puppy. Well, when Chili and her daughters start a race to catch Grandpa on one of the trees, we can see that Chili's name is written on one of them. So, for this reason, we believe that Chili was also quite naughty when she was at the age of Bluey and Bingo. And of course, she decided to mark her territory. At this point, most of us know about the Healer's car license plate detail, where 419 means a shade of blue, and HLR means Healer. So basically, Blue Healer. But did you know there are other license plates with even more interesting numbers? For example, Terrier's mum license plate basically spells out Terrier, but the funniest license plate belongs to Bella. If we look at her license plate, it spells out Too Many Kids, basically implying her 9 children. So these were some of the hidden details in Bluey that we found. And as always, we'll see you all in the next video.